Hey, welcome to 2004 In the Abyss. I'm Rob Adams of the Actors Workshop. And you know what? I think 2002 may have been an anomaly, at least in the early 2000s, because I thought 2003 yesterday was a pretty good stack of films. And 2004 has another good stack. And I'm still missing some. One of my buddies pointed out yesterday, hey, what about this movie? And I was like, oh, forgot it. So I got to add that to my list of movies I missed. And then I have another friend who messaged me today and said that he enjoyed watching it, so hopefully he'll continue to watch. Thanks, John. But anyways, there's a lot of pretty strong films here. I think the finalists are not as strong as yesterday's, but overall, some pretty good films. So let's start with our first comedy because usually we start with comedies, but it's Starsky and Hutch. It's a good fun comedy. Ben Stiller, Owen Wilson, Snoop Dogg, Vince Vaughn. It's a good cast. But more specifically, this was my favorite TV show growing up. I don't love that it's such a goofy comedy, but I do love the detail of the stuff that they wear and the way that they kind of pay homage to the TV show and the way that the characters do their part to make you see Starsky and Hutch and Huggy Bear and all of those kinds of things. I really think David Soul and Paul Michael Glazer were great in the roles on the TV show, and you get to see them at the end of the movie, which was kind of a neat little thing. But like I said, it's a good fun comedy. It's a good cast. Watch it. Now, like I said, if you know the TV show, you'll appreciate more of the detail, but you can watch it as a comedy and enjoy it. Another Owen Wilson film, comedy-wise, um, The Big Bounce. It's an okay film, but you got Morgan Freeman and Charlie Sheen supporting, which makes some of the work and the comedy in it pretty strong. So I wanted to point that out. This one's not known as much. And like I said, it's okay, but because the acting's pretty strong, it's worth giving it a shot. Our next comedy is a sports comedy. Bernie Mac, Mr. 3000. He was a baseball player who had 3,000 hits, and they find a screw up in the record books, and he's at 2,997. So he has to come out of retirement at like 47 years old or something like that to try to get his 3 hits. Once again, kind of like The Big Bounce, it's an okay comedy, but the premise is creative. He's funny in it. The supporting people are funny in it, and it makes for an interesting story and a decent comedy. Our last comedy of the top four here that we're going through is The Girl Next Door, Emile Hirsch, who we talked about, with the Emperor's Club a couple days ago, and then Alicia Cuthbert, where she moves in next door. She's a porn star, and him dealing with that. She's beautiful and does an amazing job. He's great as the nerdy, smart kid. But to me, this movie is made when Timothy Olyphant shows up as the movie director, producer, and the scenes with him are terrific. He's such a good actor. Another guy that he just consistently does, Timothy Olyphant, and he's outstanding in it. And like I said, it's a good, fun, romantic comedy with a twist to it, and Timothy Olyphant to me makes the film. Um, Next up, Friday Night Lights. Most of us have seen it. Texas football, Permian, the story of the 1988 team, and their ups and downs. Billy Bob Thornton does a great job as the head coach, and the kids do a good job, and it's a good story, a true story, and makes for a really good film. Of course, they did the TV show spinoff from this, which you know did really well as well. I didn't watch the TV show, but I know that it had success, but I did enjoy the movie. So if you have not seen it, check it out. Um, Next up on our runs of Leonardo DiCaprio, The Aviator, where he is playing Howard Hughes. Once again, a really good cast. A cool period piece, which once again we're talking about in class quite a bit. And also, I like the fact that you get some of these stars playing the older, actors of the day, right? And making them come alive. It's not just Leonardo as Howard Hughes. You have other people around him that were celebrities, of the time. And, it gives you the story of him and all the stuff that he he did and how he became successful, but also the people that were around him and the celebrity and stuff like that. And once again, I like that history. I like those kinds of things, and it's a good movie. Cool cover. Anyways, give it a look. Tom Hanks, The Terminal. This is basically Castaway in an airport. Kind of. He has more human interaction in this than he does in Castaway. But it's okay. You know, they were banking on his success from Castaway with this movie. You know, Catherine Zeta-Jones, we talked about her with Zorro and some other stuff, and I really like her. She does a really good job in this. And then you know, he does an accent in it, and I don't know if I love the accent, but he makes it work. And what's cool about it is it's a made-up country, so it's a made-up accent, so it could be whatever he wants it to be, and it seems believable because he talks through the movie that way. But you know, he's stuck in the airport trying to get out to New York to, you know, go finish something he promised his dad. And that's all I'll tell you until you watch the movie. But that was the next Tom Hanks film in line, The Terminal. All right, a little shift in gears. You know, periodically we'll talk about those mood movies, those heavy movies. 2004 gave us Passion of the Christ. If any movie is a mood movie, meaning just from the standpoint of you have to, I mean, it's just so graphically, visually, you know, just, oh, it's heartbreaking. And Caviezel does just an amazing job. First and foremost, you know, speaking Aramaic through the whole thing, like, you know, it's just so honest and believable. You really believe you're watching Christ when he's on screen. And then the scenes, you know, where he's being whipped and with the claw, you see the skin pulling off. It's just, whew, it's really tough. And then, of course, with the crucifixion scenes that they filmed, he actually, when he was being crucified, when they were filming the scene, he got struck by lightning, right? And he had broken some ribs, and I mean, he was pretty banged up, and they wanted to take a few days off. He's like, no, let's use it, let's go with it, and it creates even more pain and suffering, and we would never really know what Jesus Christ went through with the crown of thorns and the carrying of the cross and being crucified. But, you know, Mel Gibson really brings to life a feeling of, or an idea of what he went through. And, you know, those real things that happen bring an honesty and believability to it. And it's a really strong, powerful film, but you really have to be in the mood to sit and watch it. And I do at least once a year, right? Because it's so well done. You know, it's a must watch. All right, we are on Denzel day 3, I think, or 4, whatever it's been. Man on Fire. He is hired to protect Dakota Fanning, who I would say probably is one of the greatest child actors of all time. Man, she was terrific, and she was on a run of all these movies. And of course, she gets kidnapped, and then he is going after them in Denzel fashion, right? And we've talked about it several times. Denzel being Denzel, he is badass, does an amazing job. She's great with him, and it makes for a really good action thriller. Speaking of action thrillers, National Treasure. You know, this is right up my alley because we're talking history now, right? We're talking the Declaration of Independence and, you know, Independence Hall and all the clues. And on the back of the Declaration, they have this. So they have to plot to steal the Declaration so they can get the information to go find the treasure, you know, and it's so good. And the second one is so good too, which is the Book of Secrets, which has to do with Booth, which we're working on right now with the Conspirator. So like all these things get tied in with not only the movies, but what we're doing with acting class. So it's pretty cool. But supporting cast is really good. He does a really good job in it. And like I said, the story is really, really good. And I really like Diane Kruger. You know, she's really strong and believable, and she works these movies really well. Like I said, if you haven't seen these, and I know I repeat myself, but you know, that's just the right words to use. If you haven't seen it, you need to watch it. And if you have, you need to rewatch it because you'll learn a little bit something new about history every time you watch it, which is pretty cool. All right, Tom Cruise, Jamie Foxx, Collateral. Jamie Foxx, a taxi driver. Tom Cruise is a hitman, and basically uses him to drive him around town doing his hits. It is a little out of the Tom Cruise realm of things that he has done, but it is in that line that we were talking about of now more of an action thriller type film. It's just a different kind of role for him, and I think he does a really good job. If you guys don't know by now, I like Tom Cruise films, right? I think he's an above average to really good actor, but um, I love his movies. He makes great decisions with his movie choices, and he's in a lot of really good movies. And this is another one. And I really think that Jamie Foxx does a really, really, really good job as the taxi driver who's trying to figure out how he's going to get out of this. And it makes for a pretty good film. All right, so yesterday's number one was Pirates of the Caribbean. The first film that Johnny Depp did after Pirates was Secret Window. I know it didn't get the reception that it should have. I really like this movie. I'll watch it every time it's on TV. I think Maria Bello does a great job as the ex-wife, Timothy Hutton as the boyfriend, and then John Turturro as the guy who's rivaling Johnny Depp. And their scenes together, their banter, and then of course it's another thriller with twists and turns that kind of catches you off, and it makes it a really fun up until the end. And like I said, I really enjoy this film, and I'll watch it over and over again. And I think he does a great job in it. And now we're kind of more into the quirkiness of Johnny Depp after Jack Sparrow, and you get some of that in this, but more straight on. So it kind of works for the film. All right, so yesterday we talked about Surviving Christmas. I had brought it up talking yesterday, and so 2004 it comes out, and to me this is my Christmas hidden gem. I'm not a huge Ben Affleck fan, but I'm a huge fan of Ben Affleck in this movie. He is awesome. James Gandolfini, phenomenal. Christina Applegate, beautiful and phenomenal. It's just really a really good movie. She's here. And then it's Catherine O'Hara on this side as the wife of James Gandolfini, from Home Alone and stuff. Anyways, he goes to his childhood house. Gandolfini, his family live there, and he pays them to be his family for Christmas, which is just hysterical. It makes for a really, really funny Christmas comedy, and I love it. Like I said, I'll watch this every Christmas. I think it's great, and he's really great in it. The whole cast is great in it. I tell people every year, you need to watch. Everyone will start talking about Christmas movies. I'm like, you need to talk about, you need to watch Surviving Christmas, because they'll mention Elf, which we talked about, or Bad Santa, or other things. And I'm like, yeah, those movies are great. We've seen them all. Have you seen Surviving Christmas? I'm asking you, have you seen it? And if you haven't, you need to watch it. It's really good. All right, so my runner-up for 2004, Dodgeball, and you got to get the unrated version. A lot of times when you get unrated, you just get deleted scenes. This is rated R. The original's like PG-13. This is rated R. There's a little bit more foul language. The one-liners by Rip Torn, is a little filthier, and it just, to me, makes it a funnier film. Gary Cole, Jason Bateman, Ben Stiller, Christine Taylor, Vince Vaughn. We can go on. A really good cast. And once again, this is one we all know. Everybody knows this movie. My kids know it. You all know it. It's really good. It's funny, and it's classic Vince Vaughn, and it's a classic film. However, my number one for 2004 is Miracle. What can you say? It's a great movie. It's a great story. The 1980 Olympic hockey team, and to be able to put this and film it such a realistic way, and to tell this story in such a realistic way. The kids who are the hockey players just do a great job. Everybody around Kurt Russell does a great job, but really Kurt Russell carries it as Herb Brooks. And it's funny, when this movie came out, the people who knew Herb Brooks died right after, like, the photography of this film. So he never got to see it. but the people who knew Herb and watched the movie said when they watched Kurt Russell, they felt like they were watching Herb Brooks. And it's funny because for us, we're watching Kurt Russell, and is that the ultimate as an actor? You're doing you, but the people that know the person see the person, so you're consistently you and you're consistently Herb Brooks, and he really does a good job carrying this film. The kids around him are great. The story's phenomenal. I still get chills. Do you believe in miracles? Yes. It's amazing. It's a must watch, and you can watch it a million times, and it never gets old. It is easily, as good as Dodgeball is and some of these other ones, it is easily my number one for 2004. Okay, real quick on the music side, I wanted to bring up Mastodon, Leviathan, and the only reason I'm bringing this up is this is a story of Moby Dick. This is the book in music form, and I wanted just to point it out because that is the stuff that draws me to this style of music, is when they can take real stories or historical pieces or those kinds of things and put them down and create amazing music with it, and that's what you get with this record. The Killers, Hot Fuss, their debut, it's great. Mr. Brightside, Smile Like You Mean It. Jenny Was a Friend of Mine. I really enjoy this album. I really enjoy the Killers. I know it surprises you. I don't seem like a Killers fan, but I really do like their music. I really like their material. I actually had pre-ordered their CD for this year, their newest one, which was supposed to come out like a month ago and has been pushed to December, so I'm looking forward to that. But this is what got them going, Hot Fuss, and it's a really good, really, really good album. All right, another one that you guys will probably be surprised, Green Day, American Idiot. I'm not a huge Green Day fan, but they hit it out of the park with this album, and I don't know if you guys know the story or not, but they had finished recording their record, and the tapes got stolen, and they had no backups. So they basically went in the recording studio and started from scratch and created American Idiot. And it's a story. It's those concept albums we talk about from start to finish. It opens up with American Idiot and it gets going. And it's their best. And it's really good. It's really powerful. The music's really strong, and I really, really like it. And it just shows you I can appreciate music even if I don't like a band, and I will buy it and listen to it and appreciate it. And that is what this album is for me. Probably most of you guys know it, and you definitely know the hits, but you need to listen to it from start to finish because it is a concept. But my number one for 2004 is Iced Earth's The Glorious Burden, which I did a whole episode on the breakdown of this record. So I'm not going to go over it again. If you want to hear more about this record, you can go to the episode that is about it, because it's a history lesson in music. But it really comes to a head at the end when they do the 3-part Gettysburg song. And we were talking in class yesterday about we're doing the conspirator, and we're talking about the Civil War, and a lot of people didn't realize that just across the way was family and best friends split north and south, and having to think of the possibility of battling each other. And John Schaefer does a really good job of taking the parts of Gettysburg, but then taking moments of other parts of the Civil War and kind of putting them at the beginning of these certain songs, and then tying in day 1 of Gettysburg or day 2 of Gettysburg, and then finishing with the finale, Hold at All Cost. High Watermark. It goes Devil to Pay, day 1, Hold at All Cost, day 2, and then High Watermark, day 3, with, the powerful ending to the Battle of Gettysburg. And then, of course, it ends with that violin I talked about in the other video. This is one I'll listen to probably in a whole once a month. I love it that much. And very much like Miracle was a very easy 2004 pick for me, The Glorious Burden is a very easy 2004 pick for me. And like I said, if you want to know more about it, go back and find the episode and watch it. So there you have 2004, a pretty good stack of movies, some different music tastes for Rob. So I'm glad that I got to point that out for you. 2005 will be on Monday. So we're cruising right along. Not too many weeks left of doing this. So Once again, I appreciate the comments. Keep them coming. If you haven't subscribed, do that. And remember, 2004, Iced Earth, The Glorious Burden, and the classic Miracle. We'll see you. Have a great weekend.